Welcome to Boot2boom Now, the #1 live streaming show, the #1 live streaming entrepreneur show, taking you from bootstrap to booming. We are here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we are here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We are here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern to get your PayPal popping, your business booming, and your life and your relationships to explode. Boom! Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Boot2boom, the #1 live streaming show taking entrepreneurs from bootstrap to booming. I'm your host, Avalaura, and this is my amazing co-host, Jessica. And we are here every Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern to get your PayPal popping, your business booming, and your life and relationships to explode. And we are so excited to be here with you all tonight on time. No technical difficulties tonight, y'all. Woo! I feel like we winning already. And we have a really exciting show. We're actually going to address a couple of things tonight, which I think are so important for entrepreneurs that we don't talk a lot about. And the first one is really how to make money in network marketing. Because so many of you all, I know that that's your first entryway into the whole concept of being an entrepreneur. But a lot of you are not necessarily knowing how to maximize that. And I can tell you some horror stories of people trying to market to me who are network marketing. So I'm sure we'll talk about that. But we're going to talk about how to really make money with network marketing. And then we're also going to talk about the importance of self-care. And in particular, the importance of your health and your fitness. That's something that, you know, unfortunately, just as a whole, Black folks, we tend to overlook. Unfortunately, we don't focus as much on our health as we need to. But then even worse, entrepreneurs, that's like the last thing that we're concerned about. Everything is money, 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 marketing, 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 sales, sales, sales. But we're not really looking at self-care. We're not looking at our health. We're not looking at, you know, our exercise, how we're eating, all of these wonderful things. So we're going to be talking about that tonight with our amazing guest as well. So stay tuned for all of that. But in the meantime, you know, we got some housekeeping things, you know, we got to let you in on, we got to make sure happens. So, of course, the first thing is, if you haven't already, and I know if you watch us every week, you've done this already, but just in case you're new, or just in case maybe, just maybe, you know, you just kind of slipping on all those weeks, we want you to go ahead and like our YouTube channel. Go ahead and like the YouTube channel so you'll get updates. And, you know, we're busy. We're entrepreneurs. Sometimes you forget. I don't know how you can forget that we're on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. But in case you do, you'll get that wonderful little notification on your phone or on your computer. So go ahead and like us, subscribe to our page. And then also we want you to go ahead and share this out. Hit that share button, post it up on Facebook. Post it up on Twitter. Let your friends know. Sharing is caring. Let all your entrepreneur peeps know, or your aspiring entrepreneur peeps, let them know that we're on, that we're here, and we want them to connect with us as well. And of course, we are in the chat. So if you're in the chat with us, say hello. Let us know you're there. We always monitor the chat. We'll give you a shout out. That's your chance to be able to ask us any questions, make comments. So go ahead in there. Let us know who you are, where you're from. Let us know how you found us. Did you find us on Facebook? Did you find us on Twitter? Did you find us through word of mouth? Did you see us at PNC? How did you find us? How did you find out about Boot2boom? We would love to hear from you. And then finally, or maybe not finally, but next to finally, go ahead and get that resource list that we tell you about every week. We have literally compiled over $10,000 worth of resources for entrepreneurs. So go ahead and get that. We update it each and every week. And if you want to be listed as a resource in the resource list, you can certainly do that. You can email us at boot2boom@gmail.com and find out how you can advertise your business in the resource list as well. Oh, I know what it was. And last, finally, join us on Facebook. That's it. Join us in Facebook. Yes, we have an awesome Boot2boom Entrepreneurs Journey group on Facebook, so you can also join us there as well. So you can keep up with us in between shows. You can also make your comments and things there, and we post articles and other resources and things in the group. So definitely go ahead and join us there as well. I think that's it. Is that it, Jessica? Is that all my housekeeping? I think I got that. Yes?
I think you're good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think you're good.
Jessica's quiet tonight. You know, usually she was just laid back. She's like, yeah, you good.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm going to let you do your thing. You on fire? I'm going to let you be on fire. Don't make me start singing.
So,
girl, it's
I guess
on fire.
while we're at it, thank you, I'm on fire. Not literally, but and the heat has really calmed down in the DC area, so I'm really not on fire now. It was hot. Woo! Like 100-degree hot like the last few weeks. So I'm glad I'm figuratively not on fire. It has cooled down considerably, and that's a blessing. Thank you for the rain. Thank you. Woo! So I guess while we're at it, let me go ahead and introduce you to my amazing co-host, because I mean, I know you know who she is, but just in case, like I said, I know we got some newbies that come in once in a while. So, you know, definitely want to make sure you are like, who are these people? Who are these Black women looking all good and everything? But who are they? So I'm going to tell you about Jessica.
You are on fire tonight for sure.
She's like, yeah, okay. Jessica is an experienced online business consultant that has over a decade in assisting SME business owners throughout the digital media sector. Throughout her 25 years of practice, she has worked with well-known Wall Street and Fortune 500 companies, television celebrities, healthcare providers, leading public figures, and community leaders. Jessica really is all about helping you to show up and show out within the digital media sector. So if you know you want to have a better online presence, you want to start your own show, if it's something like Boot2boom or a podcast, Jessica is absolutely your girl. You need to talk to her. She will hook you up. You can go ahead. You can reach her at bit.ly/talk2jaw.
Thank you so much, Avalaura. So as you all know, Avalaura is on fire tonight. So she's usually on fire every night. Avalaura is the host and actually the founder and creator of Boot2boom. Avalaura is an internationally celebrated intuitive consultant and life coach who takes her clients from whole to wholeness in their life, relationships, and business. She guides them through a powerful healing process that helps them discover who they are, who they wish to be, and how to get there. If now's the time for you to live a freedom-focused life, detox yourself of limiting beliefs that no longer serve you, and create an unrecognizable reality, then Avalaura is the guide you've been waiting for. So you can get a consultation today by emailing avalaura@avalaura.com. And today, actually, Avalaura is our sponsor for the day as well, Avalaura's Healing Center. Do you feel called to do big, great, and meaningful work in the world? Have you given up on your dreams? Are you suffering in silence because you can't figure out how to create the life you really want for yourself? Well, Avalaura helps you move from whole to wholeness in your life, in your relationships, and in your business to live a freedom-focused life full of peace, abundance, and happiness. So like I said, you can contact Avalaura at avalaura.com for a 20-minute consultation to see how she can help you. And also she goes along with our popping topic tonight, which is wellness and self-care in your business. So as Avalaura explained to you all in the beginning of this show, you know, what's really important and what's really crucial in our community is that we talk about how we can take care of ourselves. We talk about sales, we talk about strategy, systems, all that other good stuff, digital media, right? Social media, but we don't usually have the conversations on how we can take care of ourselves as individuals in our wellness. So Avalaura is really good at that. So Avalaura, if you could speak just to that a tad bit, what are some different, maybe one tip or technique that you can offer up to the individuals who may be listening tonight about entrepreneurship and how they can take care of themselves?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this topic tonight because this is definitely up my alley. And the one thing when people ask me what I do, I have a very holistic approach, you know, to healing and wellness. But the one thing I don't do is fitness. So our guest is going to talk about that because I don't have any business telling anybody about fitness when I barely get myself into the gym. So I'm not going to talk to you all about that. However, what I can speak about is the importance of exercise. I have started working out again, so I can talk about that without sounding like a hypocrite. I have done that. You know, but it's really important to take care of ourselves. And one of the things that I help a lot of my clients with is self-care. That is huge. And I'll actually be doing a talk if you're in or around the DC area, August 5th at, I believe it's at 10 a.m. In DC. I will be doing a talk on the 7 keys to making a self-care shift. So if you are interested in that topic of self-care, of understanding that you know you need to take better care of yourself, and this is whether you're an entrepreneur or not. It's just that entrepreneurs, we need even more self-care than most people because we are in that sort of, you know, kind of hustle phase. Everybody got to hustle. It's like cute to hustle and, you know, teen no sleep and, you know, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like, no, you're not going to sleep when you're dead because you're dead. So you kind of need to do that now while you're still alive with us. So I think as entrepreneurs, we tend to devalue the importance of taking care of ourselves because really the focal point or what most people think is important is making that money. But you really want to be a well-rounded entrepreneur, and a well-rounded entrepreneur, you know, you're not just making money, but you're spiritually healthy, you're mentally healthy, you're emotionally healthy, you're physically healthy, right? You're feeling good in the inside and out. And that's so important. So one of the things that I'll definitely offer as a tip that I teach is meditation. And so I'm really excited about our guest because I was teaching meditation at the PNC conference and she was doing fitness. So, you know, kind of like a full circle moment here. So that is absolutely something that I teach and I advocate for anybody because anybody can meditate. You know, one of the things that I really teach my clients and my students is how to breathe correctly. And as long as you know how to do that, you can meditate anywhere. And it immediately helps you to be centered, be grounded, to release stress, and just to let go of all that stuff that is going on. Oh, I didn't make my sales goals, or, you know, I got to work on my website, or I got to do this, I got to do that. You kind of just able to let all of that go and just be in the moment. So whatever it is that you're doing, if you don't have a self-care plan, I encourage you, particularly if you are an entrepreneur, to have a self-care plan. And your self-care plan is not going to look like somebody else's plan because it just depends on what type of business you run, how your day looks, how your day is structured, if you have children, if you're married or not, you know, all of those different things. So you need a self-care plan that's going to work for you. So if you want more information about that, you can certainly contact me. I do self-care consultations, mini consultations, but just to help you to really think about this stuff and to, you know, design something that's going to work for you. So definitely you can email me at avalaura@avalaura.com and we can talk more about that. But this is something that's really important and you're going to get a lot more information from our guest today as well.
Thank you, Avalaura.
Well, I guess I should introduce our guest, huh?
You should. I'm like, she's summing it up well.
Who this woman? So tonight we have the amazing Suzan Hart. And Suzan is actually, she's an inspirational speaker and she's a master trainer. She has shared the stage with, now these people you know, so just listen, Jack Canfield, George Fraser, Dr. Venus Opal Reese, Susan Sly, and she is the author of Leading with Character and co-author of MLM Woman. And she's also trained on CDs with David Wood and Stephen Covey. Suzan Hart went from physically exhausted and financially upside down to becoming a Black woman millionaire. She is the creator of the Fit, Fab, and Fulfilled program. So please join me in welcoming Suzan Hart to Boot2boom. Woo!
Hello, ladies.
Hello. How are you tonight?
I'm excellent. I'm so excited to be here.
We are excited to have you, looking all fit, fabulous, and fulfilled.
Right?
That's the way it is.
Love it.
You know, so one of the things that, you know, we always like to start out with is, you know, of course, you're going to share your amazing expertise with us, but we always like to know who our guest is. You know, what's your background, and really, how is it that you became an entrepreneur?
Well, you know, it's interesting because my journey actually created the product, my product. My background is family, individual, and group counseling. I am a crisis counselor by training, and have worked probably about 16, 18 years in my field. And at the time of the situation that kind of created the shift for me, I was managing one of the largest drop-ins in the downtown core. Now, if you don't know what a drop-in is, a day program for women who have mental health issues and are not medicating, women who have addictions issues and are still using, and women who are marginalized, living on the street, or at risk of losing their housing. And the team that I supervised, we saw about 100 to 150 women a day. So you can imagine this location. It is hopping, it is popping, and I'm the manager of what we would call the crisis team. Loved it because if you get to know me, I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie. So loved it because it was changing every day. However, when you work at that intensity for extended periods of time, it takes a toll on your health. So for me, how it began to show up was it didn't matter how much I slept, never woke up feeling rested. You know, I lost weight, so I was losing my lean muscle. My mental clarity was going. And at one point, if you looked at me funny, you wouldn't know if I would laugh, cry, or want to jump at you. You know, one of those. And in social services, you know, one of the things that really kind of shifted me was you work really hard for a lot of pats on the backs, a lot of accolades, and not enough pay. So here I am working really hard, and I find myself $50,000 upside down in credit card debt. At one point, a lien on my house, juggling credit cards, which bill to pay, children getting ready to, you know, they're in high school, marriage that's falling apart due to financial stress, and suffering in silence, and totally praying for an answer. And for me, I think the thing that was most striking was privately, I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. And I didn't really want anyone to know what was going on because in my mind, I have 7 years of post-secondary education. I've gone to work in my field. I've climbed that proverbial ladder. Outwardly, I'm supposed to be at the top of my game, and I'm privately falling apart. And so I would go to bed at night and cry and suffer and just want out. And finally, I got a call from a friend who talked to me about this health and wellness company that she was looking at and said to me, Suzanne, you want to get involved with this. It's fitness, it's health, it's right up your alley. And of course, being the proud sister that I am, I said, oh no, I'm good. My life is good, we're good. And luckily, she kept calling. She called every day for 7 days. And she actually said she was going to continue to call until I took a look. And so it began my network marketing journey. It put me back on my health and wellness track. And everything turned around for me. And so the first thing I began to reclaim my health. And I began to experience great energy, vitality. I began sleeping again. But the one thing that really struck me was I also had a sense of well-being. And, you know, as you were talking earlier, in terms of that mental, spiritual, and physical health, that began to come back, that sense of peace. And then I began to put on weight, and people began to talk about the health in my skin, the color of my eyes, the pep in my step, and the definition that I was getting back, the lean muscle I was putting back on. So for me, I'm looking for a way out, and here I am becoming my own walking billboard. And I'll never forget the day that my own supervisor called me into the office and closed the door and said, "Okay, tell me what you're doing." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "What are you on?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And she goes, "What have you been doing for the past month or so?" So I began to share with her, and she was like, "Well, you need to get me some." And in that moment, I went, this is interesting. And I shared with my mom. My mom began to get great results. I shared with my best friend. My best friend began to lose weight. Everybody I shared with got results, but they were all different. They were all unique. Increased energy, better sleep, weight loss, lean muscle. It was amazing. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm looking for out, and people are coming to me looking for answers. So there began a journey into wellness, into my bridge from employee to the beginning of an entrepreneurial journey, and my bridge from trading time for dollars to actually getting paid for my productivity. And once I began to understand this new world, I did not look back. And I became fascinated with health. I became fascinated with how our mindset impacts what we believe we should have, and also this whole concept called wealth, and realizing I understood how to make money, but I knew nothing about creating wealth. And so here I am today.
Wow. I love that. I love that. So much wisdom just in your story. And as you were saying that, I'm just sitting there like, wow, like you are describing my client. That is with so many of my clients in varying fields. It's not the field, but just that feeling of suffering and working so hard and feeling like I'm just not, who I thought I was supposed to be, or, I worked so hard. Like I said, I got the degrees, I did everything that everybody told me to do, but I'm not happy. Something is wrong with this picture. And I love that. First of all, I love your friend. I mean, some of us might have said she was being a pest, but she sometimes that's what it takes. And
yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the lesson right there in business, that persistence sometimes really does pay off. And so you can't just follow up with somebody once or twice, but sometimes it's going to take 7 times.
And I think it's actually persistence with caring, right?
Yes.
She knew what was missing in my life, and she knew she had something I would eventually value. She had a solution. So she was caringly persistent, and she was being a stand for me. And it was she knew at some point I would see it, and I eventually did, right? So, yeah. That's
beautiful. And then you're not even seeing it right away, but other people seeing it before you even saw it, and finally saying, okay, wait a minute, come on now. Mm-hmm. Come on, you got something, you doing something. I know it's not crack, you doing something though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did you make that? So once the light bulb finally went off, mm-hmm. and you said, okay, wait a minute, I got something here. What was the next steps? How did you go from that place of, you're feeling better now. So how did that then translate into, now that you're feeling better, how did that translate into business?
I think the first part for me was that once I understood what I had, I began to kind of play with it would be probably the word, because you don't know until you know, right? So I remember saying to myself, well, what if I could make an extra $500 a month? And my initial goal was to take my family on vacation and actually pay cash and not credit card, right? So I thought, okay, well, what if I could do that? So I began to put aside time, and in the evenings I would start to kind of work on my new enterprise, if you will, and I started giving it some time, and And people started purchasing, and people started asking for the product, and I made my $500. And then I thought, well, what if I could do 1,000 a month? And when I started looking at the 1,000, 2,000 and more, then it became, okay, I need to get my priorities straight. And this is such a key thing for someone who is moving from employee to entrepreneur. And when I tell people, it was that my dream became my priority, my job paid my bills. Right? So for me, what happened was that, yes, I went to a job every day and I valued it because it kept the roof over my head. But my bigger vision was that if I could build this dream, it would set me free. So I committed to 2 hours every single night for 2 years, really, 2.5 years. And it was consistent, it was persistent. And what was amazing was I was the person who would work hours of overtime. I had more overtime than anyone should ever have. And so, but once my priorities shifted, interestingly, overtime stopped. I still got it done, and I invested in my dream. And I think oftentimes when people are doing that juggling and they're transitioning, is that their work still remains their priority because they're giving it the majority of their time. But I learned that just because something gets the majority of my time doesn't mean it's a priority in my life. So
wow, that was a nugget right there. I hope y'all picked that one up.
Right. So
it's
that's
really a mental shift. You made the mental shift. So physically, things were still the same, and that you still had this job that you had to go to, and it's taking your 40 hours a week. But mentally, you made that shift that, look, I'm here. This is paying my bills, but I got my eyes on the prize.
Absolutely. And then from with that priority became a commitment to be my word around the hours I set for my own business. Right, so it was 2 hours every evening, Monday to Thursday. Friday was family night, and then some hours on the weekend. And I became consistent in it. I think the other thing was really beginning to read and educate myself so that I could actually begin to look at things differently. So I began, my car became my rolling library, audio tapes, to work and from work. I began to read and attend workshops, and I really dove into my new profession and educated myself, whether that be understanding network marketing, understanding a sales process, understanding how to connect with prospects and do all those things. So I dove in to educate myself. And then I think the final part was really beginning to understand that I had to shift here, because the mind that got me where I was a mind that got me into this place. I was like, okay, this isn't working. So I had to also make this mental shift. And it was really being willing to look at some things in a real way, and look at some things up close and personal. How did I do my money? What did time mean for me? What was time freedom? Did I actually understand it? What was leverage? What did I value? Did my life reflect the things I valued? And when I began to look at it, no, my life didn't reflect anything I valued, because I was living in like the rat in the wheel chasing the cheese, and someone was always moving my cheese, right? So I had to really reevaluate how I was doing things and get close up and personal with Suzanne and make some real changes.
Wow. I have one last question. I know Jessica has some questions here. But I really specifically want to know, what tips do you have for network marketers? And I ask that in particular because I think that a lot of times people in network marketing really they have an issue with branding, in the sense that they're so busy representing their company that nobody knows who they are or even really cares. And then the other thing I see, I have thousands and thousands of friends on Facebook. I'm constantly getting sold to, right? And it's usually network marketers who will, goes down in the DM, hit me up in my inbox and, telling me about this product. I'm like, that's not how you sell to people. That's not, I remember I had one person who, because I get a lot of friend requests. So before I accept people, I'm like, who are you? What you want? Because I got too many people. And so I will, a nice little, message, just tell me a little bit about yourself, what inspired you to connect with me. And I literally had one person like, oh, well, I'm just, I'm new on Facebook and I want to sell my product. I'm like, oh, delete.
Like,
yeah. Like, that's not how you sell to people. So, do you have some tips for network marketers in particular about how they can properly market their products so people will want to buy from them?
Oh my goodness, that's a call in and of itself. Sure. But I think one of the key tips is to remember that network marketing is a referral sale business. It's word of mouth, right? And so that's one of the key things. And people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So in other words, there has to be a click first for someone to actually take the time to purchase from you. So for me, I understand that the first thing that must be present is a relationship with the person that I am going to even consider offering a product, a service to. So I've got to take time to get to know them. And I call that, you've got to connect and you've got to do some sort of inquiry. You got to, what do they like? What do they don't like? What's their family about? What do they do for work? What do they do for recreation? What are their dreams, aspirations, all those things. And truly, the only time an offer is made is when I find out that there's a gap between where they are and where they desire to be, and that I can fill it, right? And the key thing for me is that sometimes I don't even fill it with my own product. I fill it with whatever you need, because I want to further the relationship and I want to further my value to them. Right? So sometimes it might be that you need a hairdresser, you need a referral for a coach, you need whatever it is. My goal is to further the relationship. At some point, I truly believe that as the relationship is built and the trust is built, that they're going to tell me that they require some sort of service or product that I can assist them with, right? And that's the first clue for me. But I think the second thing is that I truly believe that people, when someone really wants something, they take a stand for it, right? And if they take a stand for it, whatever you're offering them now occurs to them as this valuable service. It's this thing they need. And when they see it as something they value and need, it no longer occurs as a hard sell. It occurs as an offering, right? So for me, a lot of it in network marketing is you educate people and they'll choose in or choose out, right? So I oftentimes hear the process that you're talking about and I'm like, oh, who let you out without training you, right? And truly, I think for people is that when you get involved with network marketing, understand that it's a profession like anything else. It truly is. And whoever has invited you to walk with them and join them on this journey, it is truly their responsibility to hook you up with the appropriate training so that when you're out there, you actually know what to do. I didn't know anything about any of this that I'm talking about, but I was required to learn it. So that I could connect with people in a respectful way. Because if you learn to do it right, I can connect with you over and over and over and over again, and you'll never know I'm doing this thing called prospecting. Because prospecting is truly here. It's listening, right? And listening for what you need and value. So that would be my tip.
I love it. That is so on point. And I really, really love that approach of one, and we talk a lot about that here, is building the relationships. But I love that you said, sometimes it's not even my product. I listen for what they need. And if there's something else that they need that I can refer them to, I will do that to really build and establish that relationship. I think that is huge. And I think if more entrepreneurs did that, they would certainly find themselves being a lot more successful just in how can I further and build this relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love that. Jessica, go ahead. I know I'm just asking. I got a bunch of more questions, so you just go ahead and hop right on in.
No worries. So how did you move into fitness? So we've talked a little bit about being in network marketing. How did you move into the fitness area of your life, or was it just a natural progression?
It's interesting because fitness is kind of what I know. And what I mean by that is I was the active little girl that my mother put in every single sport to keep me out of trouble. So I have done gymnastics, I've played soccer, I've played basketball, I've ran track, I've done horseback riding, I've done figure skating, I've done diving. You name it, I have done it. Archery, riflery, the list goes on. Only because I had lots of energy. As I got older, I focused on basketball and track. And then in my 20s, I became a competitive bodybuilder for a number of years. And so fitness was just truly my way of entertaining myself. And then it became my social circle. And then as I got older, it was what I did to just stay in shape. And it still is today. So fitness is it's just what I know and do.
Wow. Yeah. So bodybuilding, you definitely are going to have to let us in on bodybuilding, girl. Don't try to pass that up and act like that didn't just happen. So tell us about your bodybuilding experience. Like, what was it like? How did you even get into that whole arena? Because it's one thing for you to be doing a bunch of different activities and being in fitness and all that good stuff. But it's another thing to be like, tell us about that a little bit about. How did that happen?
Don't you love the sound effects?
I know, eh? I don't know about the hood, but anyway, yeah, absolutely. So bodybuilding came about when I was in university and I had just moved to Montreal. So college, you'd call it in the U.S. I just moved to Montreal to go to school, and I was looking for something to do to keep in shape. So I walked into a gym with a friend of mine, and I had done a little bit of weights when I was running track. So we were fooling around on the machines, probably doing everything wrong, but we're on the machines nonetheless. And as I'm walking around this gym, there's this man that keeps staring at me, and my girlfriend and I are like, okay, who's the man in the corner? And we're having not so pleasant things to say about him because we're thinking he's like the gym stalker, and he's watching. And so as I'm leaving, he goes, excuse me. And I look at him and he goes, have you ever considered competitive bodybuilding? And I looked at him and I said, I don't even know what that is. And he went into his office and he brought out this magazine, and it had Carla Dunlap on it. Girl had the most killer legs I have ever seen. And she had biceps, and I looked at her and I went, huh. And I said, can you make my legs look like that? And he said, oh yeah. And so he invited me to train and just try it out for 2 weeks, and I fell in love with it. But this is the thing I think I fell in love with. I fell in love with the challenge of my body with me, right? Because when you do this sport, it is really around you pushing yourself to the next level, getting stronger, getting more disciplined, getting more focused, all those things. And then as I did my first competition, oh my, so the total foodie had to be told what to eat and all this stuff. I was not happy. I'll just be really straight. That was not fun. However, as I went on that journey, it actually strengthened here, because it was really me getting past my emotional need to eat, me getting past, what it felt to be tired and still have to get up and go run stairs and do an ab workout in the morning, go off to school, go to work, then go to the gym and do all these things. And so what I loved about it was the level of, I call it mastery, some people call it discipline, that I developed with myself. And it really taught me that I could count on me, right? No matter what was going on, somewhere in there, I had the fortitude, the strength, the discipline to push through it. And I learned that when I ran track, but I really got to know it when I competed. Because, first of all, you're disciplined on what you eat, you're disciplined on when you sleep. You go work out by yourself in the middle of like 6 o'clock in the morning. Really? And part of you is going, why are you doing this? Right? But it was a fun journey. It came to an end because my last competition I went to, and I looked at the women, I thought, oh my, they're big. Oh my gosh, they're big. And I really had no desire to get that big. My mom says I look like the ant on stage. I was just tiny, and I was doing it for fun and for fitness. And that was the time when it was bodybuilding, and they didn't have figures, they didn't have fitness, they just had plain old big girls on stage. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Done with that. Nope. Yeah, no.
I really love that description because I've never thought of bodybuilding in that way at all. And I'm sure most people don't. They probably like Jessica with the, but you're like, no, it really is. It's it's you, yourself, and I. It really is. What you can do, what you can, how much you can really push yourself. And it's so interesting, that you said that, because that goes back to those mindset shifts. And so it sounds like you really already had a history of that. So when you had to make a shift, for your business, you already had a little bit of that discipline in there to help you to kind of make that shift.
Absolutely. And one of the things you were talking about earlier was, the whole need and the benefits of entrepreneurs and business people, working out. And we talk about, when you work out, you have increased energy, you have increased mental clarity, you have, you feel more vital, and all those different things, and it increases your health. But the one thing we don't talk about is the mental mastery, right? And one of the things I do know is that when you're physically fit, you become mentally fit, right? When you're physically strong, you become a little bit more mentally strong. When you're physically flexible, you become mentally more flexible. When you are physically resilient, you become mentally more resilient. And they transfer over. So what was interesting was I was in college when I was competing, and whenever I had a competition, all my marks went up. Right? All my marks went up. And it was fascinating because I had even less time because I was in the gym competing, everything was so disciplined. But that level of mastery increased my level of focus, increased my level of energy. It increased my commitment. So everything in my life expanded. And so when I talk to people who are wanting to bring their productivity in their business, in their life to a new level, I go, the first thing you want to master is your physical being and your emotional being, and then it strengthens your spiritual being, and then you see it happen everywhere else in your life. Wow. So there's such a parallel.
So if you're broke, you need to go exercise.
Absolutely.
Love it. Absolutely. I think that's right on. I think that's right on. I'm serious. I mean, I'm being funny, but I'm serious. Like, I think, if you, like you said, if you yourself, if you're not clear, that's the way for you to get clear. Because when you start to work out, you start to think. And like you said, you're not only working your physical muscles, but you're working your mental muscles as well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It's interesting because when I spoke at the Power Networking Conference, that's where I met beautiful ladies.
Yes.
one of the things that George does those power talks, right? And you have to come in with a big idea or a big question. So mine was, do people who are physically fit and healthy earn more income than people that are not? And so I started looking at stats, and one of these things they said is that if they looked at the whole population, 34% of us will say that we're happy with our financial situation and it's on track and going where it is. If you pull out all the physically fit and healthy people, that number jumps to about 64%, which is fascinating, right? And they say that people who are physically fit and healthy will more than likely contribute to a 401k and plan around their finances than someone who's not, and it's because they're forward thinking. Because when your fitness is about planning for your future, thinking about yourself beyond tomorrow, and so is your 401k. And so it was really fascinating. And then they said that people who are physically fit earn a higher than average income than people that are not. So, I banter around this idea in my mind, but the stats kind of, the research and statistics are kind of supporting it. And it does actually make sense. It's a mental mastery that we're talking about.
Definitely.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I can think of times, because I used to actually, I've never, God knows, I've never thought about being a bodybuilder. I've never been into sports. But one thing I will say is I actually do enjoy working out. I actually do. And but there are definitely periods in my life where I'll go long stretches, 6-7 months or what have you, not working out. And particularly after I had actually 2 like back-to-back car accidents 2 years apart, but really affected my back. And so I wasn't able to work out the way I wanted to. So I just stopped, which I do not recommend, but that's what happened. But I can definitely notice a difference from when I am working out and when I'm not, very clearly. Because one of the things that I noticed is that, particularly, again, as entrepreneurs, we have our days where literally there are highs and lows all in the same day. That is the norm, right? I mean, so you could literally be an emotional roller coaster. Because, this contract went through, this one didn't, and it's just, or just any number of things that are going up. And so it's, so many things can happen in the course of a day that we just didn't even plan for, didn't even know, what have you. But one of the things I recognize is when I take that time out to work out, I forget about all of that during the course of my workout. I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I can't think about what has happened or what has not happened or how upset I was or whatever it is. I don't have time to think about that because I'm too busy focused on the physical fitness that I'm doing in that moment.
You're speaking to a beautiful point because, oftentimes when we think of health and fitness, we think of going to the gym and doing some crazy workout, right? And really, it's a bunch of things, right? So I have this whole concept that, your physical fitness, your wellness is the process of filling your cup, right? And each day I truly believe that we are required to fill our cup so that we can give from the overflow versus from inside the cup. Because as entrepreneurs, many people, they give from their cup, they give from their cup, they give from their cup, they give from their cup. And then you get to a point where the cup is empty and you're wondering what happened. Well, you haven't spent time replenishing that cup. However, if you learn to fill your cup up every day and give from your overflow, the way to which you give and the way to which you produce happens with a lot more ease because you're full. Yep. Right? You're moving from this place of abundance. You're moving from this place of strength. And so for me, it is, very much, your wellness includes your meditation. It includes your time for yourself. You're moving your body, you're nourishing your body, you're hydrating your body, you're sleeping. All those things should be part of that fitness and wellness plan. Because, what we do in the gym and what we do as a workout is only 20% of the equation. There's so many other pieces that make up that whole thing that we call wellness. And when your cup is full, I believe that everything else in your life happens with way more ease because, everything is energy, right? In my mind, everything is energy. And when your energy is high and and you've got that beautiful vibration happening because you're vital, you're full, you've got that fitness, you've got that energy, it translates into everything you do and you attract that like energy. And so there's that piece. I think the second part that I think most entrepreneurs forget is you and I are our first brand, right? So when you're talking about, network marketing, you're talking about any business, we think of that it's our slogan, our logo, the colors of our company. No, the first thing that someone buys is me, right? When I walk into a room, how I walk into that room, the energy I walk into that room with, the vitality I walk into that room with, the pep in my step, whatever it is, speaks about my brand before I ever open my mouth. And sometimes I want to say to people, consider that you're walking with a brand that says, I'm too tired. I may not make it through tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm haggard. I'm overworked. And you're saying buy from me or trust me. And your body is saying something completely different. So it is all those pieces together that really, speak to who we are in the marketplace.
Yeah. So can you talk to a bit, we're almost to the end of our show here, but I do want to really hit on this because we talk about energy and how our energy needs. Let's talk about negative energy and negative people who hold negative energy. How do we get rid of those negative people, or not even get rid of, but how do we deal with that? Right? Short-term answer, because I can't think of the words right now.
Other than run?
Exactly. Other than run. Because if we look at this, if we go into religion and biblically, we're supposed to love and try to understand some of these individuals. But some of these people cray. And I need to know at what point do you just say, you know what, you just got to stay over there. I just can't deal with you.
I gotta bless and release you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's really interesting because for me, it truly is around, one is consciously choosing who and where I spend my time, right? And so as I think when I became an entrepreneur, there's a period where I found it really lonely because in order to create my success, I had to let go of all the people that were no longer supporting me, did not believe in what I was doing, had the naysays, telling me what was wrong, and all the things that they had to do. And it didn't mean that they didn't love or care for me. They just didn't understand what I saw, and they didn't believe what I believed. So I had to limit my contact and my time with them. So I learned to love them from a distance, right? And so that's the first thing I'll say. The second thing I'll say is don't put your energy over there trying to shift and change them and make them different people. What I believe will actually have those people shift, if they're open to shifting, is who you become on your journey, right? Because, as you and I lead ourselves and we continuously transforming into the next best version of ourselves, at some point we will inspire those that are open and they will seek us out, and they will change because we're changing. They will shift because we're shifting. And I think, there's this whole thing about the integrity of who we are in the world and how constant that we show up as that person. And what's fascinating about sales is that, and particularly when people get into business and they start the sales process, what they forget about is that your consistency and integrity around who you are in that process is eventually what will build your credibility around your long-term sale, right? People are watching to see, are you truly committed to this? Is there alignment between your brand, your product, and your life and who you are? Are you your word? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you show up when no one's looking as the same way you espouse from whatever platform or stage you're on? And it's when we're willing to do those things that those negative people, the ones that are open will shift, and the ones that are not, just love them from a distance, right? Because it's not our job to change anyone. It's our job to be a source of inspiration. And those who are influenced by who we are will walk with us, and those who aren't, love them from a distance.
Absolutely. Now, what if they're a client?
Yeah. Well, I would add, I would absolutely add to that. I agree with everything that you said. And as an entrepreneur, we face that a little bit more because we're working with people. That's our business, right? We're working with people. So we can't hide behind a computer screen or whatever, unless you're like an online entrepreneur, then maybe you don't have to deal with people as much. But if you're in service business, you are dealing with people. So one of the things that I teach all of my clients, one is boundaries, is healthy boundaries, because we haven't been taught that. We haven't been taught, what our needs are. And boundaries has been reduced to just say no. But boundaries is so much more than just saying no. It really is about knowing yourself and knowing when you're over-connected or really, too concerned about somebody else in your life and not enough concerned about yourself. And so understanding those boundaries and to, like you said, lesson release, but some people you do have to have a relationship with, and that's where I do energetic techniques like cord cutting, because you got to have a relationship with this person, but how can you change the shape of the energy for yourself? Not for them, because it's not about them, but for you, so that you're at peace with regardless of whatever they're doing, because you can't control them, you can't influence them, that's not your job. They're going to go over there, they're going to be cray-cray. You stand in your own peace and your own power, and you let them do their thing.
And you're making such a beautiful point, because I think when I know for myself, when I let go of my need to control or change someone, I can give them the freedom to be whoever they choose to be, and I'll be just like, oh, that's interesting. And if you hear Suzanne saying that's interesting, that means like, there's a lot more going on in here that I want to say, right? So for me, I can watch someone be who they're committed to being and know it has no effect on me because I'm not attached to that, right? And I can give them the freedom to be. And I think it really is around, one is setting those clear boundaries, but two is giving up our need to control other people, our need to change people and tell them who they are, who they should be in the world. They are being who they are to be, and it's perfect because their journey is their journey, and their journey may be a little different to how they come to this place than I do or you do. And I think so it's giving them the freedom to have that space to be in that journey. And I can watch, and I can empower, and I can do all, and I can support, and support can just be my willingness to let you be, and go on your journey and have your lesson, and know that your transformation will come when you're ready for it to come.
And that goes back to that mental shift, of understanding that, because most times you find yourself being overly connected and overly bothered by somebody else. You haven't shifted into, I'm just going to let you be you and I'm going to be me.
Be me.
You have to
Absolutely. Well said. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, real quick, we're almost at the top of the hour, but first of all, just thank you so much for giving us a different lens, to really look at fitness, because some people really hate working out, right? So for people who hate working out, they do it only because, they're trying to lose weight, and then as soon as they lose weight, they stop working out. We all know those people. They go back to doing whatever they're doing again, and that to the next thing, I got to lose 10 pounds for this wedding. Let me go ahead and, do insanity real quick, knock out this, this 20 pounds for this wedding or whatever. But how can somebody really integrate fitness into their life who, may not be working out or only works out when they feel like they have to?
Right. I think one is it's a mental shift, first of all, and I think in our community in particular, and in society in general, most people relate to their health as this destination, right? And it's usually the envelope comes in the mail, it's the reunion, it's the wedding, it's the vacation, and then we look in the mirror, we go, oh, no. And suddenly we're on the crash diet, we're doing the insanity, we're doing all these things. And then whatever that day is, we've arrived at our destination. We swagger into the room looking just fly and, ooh, I look good. We do the day. And then after we've been so deprived for so long that we devour, right? And that's a destination approach. And I think the first thing is to really begin to look at your health as this lifetime journey. And it's something that you pick up every morning when you put your feet on the ground. You go, thank you, I'm blessed to have this beautiful day. You put your feet on the ground and you commit and you live into your health each day. And in order to do that, I think it really is, one is we're required to give up perfection, right? We're required to give up all or nothing. Right? You're not going to have the perfect day. It's not going to happen overnight. It's all those things. And I think it's also a day-by-day process. So you're not going to go from sitting on the couch to ultimate fitness in 24 hours or in 30 days. So it's this gradient of small steps. And I think why people give up is they think it's going to happen overnight. Right? And it truly isn't. So one is, I tell people, give up everybody's definition of what you should do to get in shape, right? Start with what you enjoy. If you enjoy dancing, go take a dance class. If you enjoy walking, start walking. If you enjoy whatever it is, start somewhere and then gradually add things to what you're doing. I think the second part is get on a great nutrition plan. That is a lifetime nutrition plan, not a diet, but something you're going to do on a regular basis. And I think when you start to combine those things, then you're starting on a journey that you can commit to. If you're doing anything that's extreme, ask yourself, how long can you do that?
Yeah.
Right? It's got to come to an end. So you got to find something that works, and you gradually build into it. And eventually you win. It's a journey. It's a daily journey.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not till you lose that 20 pounds.
It's actually not about the 20 pounds, truly. It's about who you want to be and your health, right? I think sometimes we're so concerned with losing the 20 pounds and this and that. And I always ask people to envision where you're going, right? Versus what you don't want. Look at what you're going. Tell me what you want and we'll move towards that versus what you don't want, right? And because if you keep the vision of who you're becoming in front of you, it's easier to move towards that than to run from what you don't want. So it's just a little bit of a different way of looking at it.
Love it. Love it. I love your perspective. Wonderful. Wonderful. So tell our viewers, how can they get in touch with you? How can they get more information about you? Where can they find you? Hook them up.
Well, you can find me at Suzan Hart on Facebook. If you're looking for me there, come friend me, say hello. If you want to truly take your health to a new level or look at how improving your health can really impact your business, you can email me at suzanne@suzanhart.com, right? And truly, one of the things that I'm really excited about is we're going to do a Fit, Fab, and Failed retreat. It's a destination retreat, so we're going to combine health, wealth, and freedom and luxury vacation all together. So wow. If that, I know.
Sounds like Avalaura and you need to get together.
Well, hey, you know.
Yeah, this is retreat season. I think I'm involved in 2 retreats now. I can make 3. I like retreats.
Well, we will talk. And so it really is about bringing that luxury experience to health, wealth, and health and wealth, and having a beautiful conversation about how we can, rock our business and rock our health at the same time, and really actually have an experience of freedom. So, Fit, Fab, and Fulfilled. So Suzanne@SuzanneHart.com, and I will do free consultations with anyone who hits me up.
All right, you all heard that. So, Fit, Fab. I'm trying to be Fit, Fab, and Fulfilled. Well, I'm fulfilled. Yes. I'm working. I'm Fab. I'm working on that fit part though. I got to get the fit part down. The other 2, I think I'm good with, but I got to work on the fit. So y'all definitely contact Suzan. I really hope that you all really listened to what she said, took notes. If you didn't, you can go back and watch this again, because she really gave you all some great nuggets and a great way to really look at health and fitness in a new light. You know, like I said, too often people are just focused on losing weight, you know, looking good, but not really understanding the internal benefits of being healthy and being fit. And so I really love this conversation that we had today. So thank you so much for that. And for your offerings, definitely connect with her. Thank you all for watching Boot2boom tonight. Remember to tune in to us next week at Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. We are here every week to get your PayPal popping, your business booming, and your life and relationships to explode. And we want you to be, you know, really fit, fab, and fulfilled too. So go ahead and share this out. You know, let your peeps know about us. Tune in.
Where is it going to be held, by the way, before we end? Where's the Fit, Fab, and Fabulous going to be held?
I think we're looking at a resort in Cancun. So
Cancun, nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Awesome.
Right.
So yes, definitely you guys check that out. And of course, if you're watching us each and every week, you know, stay tuned with us. We'll update you as well. But we will see you next week. So have an amazing week, everybody. We'll see you back here next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Good night, everyone.
Take care.